How's it going? This is Six String.
Starlight Ironhoof.
Forest Rain.
And Zeta Prime.
And this is Elements of Harmony. Tonight on the show, we are speaking with Feather, rocketing up the ranks of brony vocalists and becoming one of the most recognizable female voices within the fandom. Feather has a sweet tone that can be heard on tracks across the genre range, from musical theater to electronic. She's worked with a ton of artists within the fandom, including Aviators, Naysayer, Replacer, Denotive, Eisenboff, Sprocket Doggingsworth, Eevee Dog, Taps, Glitchhog, and numerous others. She has a tireless energy and is awesomely talented, and she joins us here tonight. Hello, Feather.
Hi.
It's fantastic that you're joining us from across the globe to come together on this interview tonight, so thank you for that.
Thanks for having me here.
Not a problem. And I guess just to start off, we'll just get sort of who is Feather from Feather. So how would you describe yourself and what you do in the fandom?
I suppose I'd start off by saying that I wasn't a vocalist before the fandom, so I guess that's the interesting thing there. I've actually been doing art a lot longer than I have been doing vocals, so it was really interesting for me to come across that. But yeah, it was an interesting talent to discover. But yeah, so I started off doing collaborations, and I guess my first real takeoff was with Croatia's Rainbow, and then I did a couple more collaborations, and then I did Mad Mares, and that was a cover of Ember Dash's parody, and that took off. And then after that, I've just been collabing, and yeah, I mean, only recently I started to try to terribly make my own music. It's failing, but it's fun anyway, because I'm not musically trained, so it's nice to have a go. But you know, I get my my music from collabing because I can't really do it myself. But yeah, so I've just kind of made my way around the fandom by collabing and trying to work with absolutely everyone. So yeah.
So you had started off with being an artist. What actually attracted you to the voice and singing?
Well, I started out in a Facebook group called Bronies of New South Wales. And the first brony musician I ever listened to was Replacer. And I listened to A Pony Like Me. And I was so taken away with it. I didn't realize that the fandom had that kind of quality to it. So I was like, oh my God. And then I figured out that he was actually in that Facebook group, same as me, even though he's from New Zealand. And I was just, so excited. And I got more inspired and tried to find more pony music. And I just kept being blown away by it because it was also great. And I made a really terrible little song that I recorded over my inbuilt mic. And it was terrible quality, terrible song, terrible everything. But the Facebook page liked it. So when I shared it there, so I decided to share it online and on YouTube and stuff. And then Croatia, who was in the Facebook group, he asked me to collab, and then it went from there.
You said you're not classically trained, but do you practice your singing?
I sing in the shower. That's about it. I'm not anything trained. I'm not classical. I haven't taken vocal lessons. I don't know music. I can't read music. I don't know anything. So I just do everything by ear.
How do you prepare to do a cover or singing?
I sing. I just pretty much sing like a song. I usually start off with a softer song and just sing along with it, and then I usually try and sing a more vocally challenging song, and then I feel like my voice is warmed up, and then yeah, I mean, if someone asks me to sing something since I can't read music, I can't do anything like that, they have to send me guide vocals if they've got something specific that they want me to sing that they've created themselves. So, yeah, I guess, yeah, I'm a bit complicated to work with because of that, but oh well.
You definitely could have fooled us. You're a great singer.
Well, thank you.
Also, you said you did art, correct?
Yeah.
Would you be able to give us a little insight in that?
Well, I've actually just graduated as a visual arts teacher in a high school kind of setting. That's where I'm trained. And yeah, so I've been doing art ever since, well, before I could walk. So art's like my passion and my love. But yeah, it's been something that I've done all my life, and I'm trained in it, and I can teach it now. So yeah, that's what I'm building my career on.
Awesome. I know a lot of artists who really would be very proud of that.
Yeah, it's been something I've been working for ever since I was 16 to be an art teacher. So I decided what I want to do and then just stuck to it until I did it. So yeah.
Just to touch on something too, you said that didn't do vocals or you didn't sing before the fandom.
Yeah. I hadn't recorded. The first thing I ever recorded was Hey Big Mac, and as terrible as it was, but yeah, I hadn't thought about it. I actually was told in choir that I wasn't a good singer, so I kind of stopped trying when I was 13 because my choir teacher, I was like trying to get in and I wasn't very good. So
you have done singing beforehand. You just started recording when the fandom came along.
Yeah, in so much that, I tried to join the school choir and then I didn't. So I guess that's the only pre-vocal experience I have. So yeah, other than that, just singing in the shower.
I think that your choir teacher was very wrong, because the first time that I had heard of you, I was actually at a local meetup in Waterloo, Ontario in Canada. And I had never heard of you at this point. And somebody said to me, we had like a mini golf outing or something like that. And just in the process of doing stuff, they're like, hey, you should really work with this person named Feather. And she's just like up and coming, and she hasn't done a lot of stuff with people yet. But she's going to be big because she has the most amazing voice. And I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, whatever. And then I completely forgot about it until I started seeing your name everywhere. And I'm like, huh, that guy was completely right.
I know, I kind of feel like I maybe collab a little bit too much because I kind of just say to whoever, yeah, sure. And yeah, I guess I collab maybe a bit too much.
Nah, but
people may get sick of me.
That's one of the best things about the fandom, though. Go out there and work with as many people as you want to and do as much as you can, and that's okay. And it's the best way to get experience and to get known within the fandom as well.
Yeah, it's certainly worked for me. I mean, if I hadn't have collabed, I wouldn't be anywhere remotely near where I am at the moment. So, yeah.
Now, speaking of where you're at in the moment, you don't really have a regular vocal training or any of that. Have you ever considered trying to seek out vocal coaching or just anything to try to improve?
It's been suggested to me, but I feel that in a way that my lack of training actually gives me a I don't know, a kind of advantage over the people that have been trained, because I feel that it gives me a more natural and raw kind of thing going on. And I also don't want to turn what I love into a chore. I don't want it to feel like it's work. I just want to do it because it's fun and I can, not because I want to take it on professionally or anything like that. I just want to have fun with it. So yeah, I don't know. Plus money. I'm poor. So
Right.
Do you have a favorite genre you like to sing, or any preference?
Oh, I don't know. See, that's the thing. Since I collab, I have to kind of adapt to whoever I'm working with. So if they say, oh, I want something, orchestral and light and whatever, I'll go, okay. And they say, oh, I want something EDM. I'm like, okay. I want something, really poppy. Okay. So I just have to do it because otherwise I don't have any music. So I guess I've kind of learnt to respect and really have a love for all genres. But I'd say my favorite, just personally, would have to be the more orchestral, lighter stuff. I feel like I have more fun there.
Have you tried any metal or grunge?
No, because I actually used to listen to all of that stuff when I was in high school, so I actually really love all that kind of stuff. But I don't know if my voice would suit it or if I'd sing it without damaging my vocals, because I don't, as I said, I don't know what I'm doing, so I wouldn't want to like destroy my vocals by singing something really heavy. But I mean, if someone approached me for that, I definitely want to look into it. So yeah.
What are your vocal influences? Is there any voices in your head that you just want to sound like when you're singing?
I think because I listen to so much, like so many different kind of genres, I don't think there's one person. I always have loved the original female singer from Nightwish, and I love Paramore's lead singer and all that kind of stuff. I like powerful vocals, but at the same time, I can't reach the kind of notes that they can, but I aspire to anyway. But yeah, I suppose I listen to the radio a fair bit too, but and everyone's really poppy on there, which is why I think my voice has a bit of a poppy twang to it at times. But yeah, that's just because when I'm driving, well, that's all I've got. So
So Feather, there's a couple of interesting things that I've noticed on your Tumblr and stuff, and one thing that you wrote in particular that struck me as very interesting and sort of making you a more complicated person than many people may believe your persona is. Somebody asked about you being perfect as a person or something along those lines, and you wrote, "There's a lot about me that isn't nice as a person. My personality has a lot of flaws. My character Feather is not me. She's a persona that I take on." Can you sort of expand upon that at all?
yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people just assume that my character Feather is me, and she's not. I'm a lot more abrasive and Australian than she is. She's a character that I kind of mixed between me and Fluttershy because I admired Fluttershy as a character in terms of her kindness, and I think there's a lot of lack of kindness on the internet, so I wanted to adopt that persona when I was, being my character online, because it helped me remember myself, because I can be very judgmental and very opinionated. And I think that, sometimes it's best just to be kind about things rather than be the social justice warrior or whatever, because, there's a lack of it, I think. And yeah, I wanted to be kind. And when people get to know me in real life and, on a friend-to-friend kind of basis, they can kind of discover what I'm really like, because I'm not like her. She's too nice and too sweet, and I'm not that nice at all. But we have, like, similarities, but I'm nothing like her.
What are the things that you would identify most with Feather as a character?
Probably her love of animals and singing and art and that kind of stuff, like her interests. And I suppose when I respond kindly as Feather, that's me trying really hard to remember myself, and I'm speaking from my heart, but at the same time there's that judgmental side of me that I'm trying to push back. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm just only showing that one side of me because I feel that's usually the better side to show. And I mean, yeah, I guess it does exist on the other half, but I kind of reserve that for friends. I feel like there's a part of me that I want to keep, casual and for friends, and there's the professional kind of me, the Feather persona that I want to keep out there, because a lot of people have said they look up to me and I want to set a good example. So yeah,
I can totally understand with that. Identify.
So going back to your talk about collaborating with artists, I was just wondering if is there anyone that you'd like to collab with in the future that you haven't already?
I think there's a lot of people, but I can't think of them right now off the top of my head. Me and Tombstone said we were going to do something a while ago, but he hasn't found the right song for me yet, so we're kind of just waiting until something happens. But I really do want to work with him. Yeah, and me and Silver have something happening eventually. I got to write lyrics for that. But yeah, there's there's heaps of people. I mean, obviously, like the dream would be to work with someone like Ponyphonic, but lol, that won't happen. I'm kidding myself.
That's awesome. That would be a great combo.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, thanks.
So which one of us can make that happen?
Does anyone know?
No, I know. I nominate you, Tim, because you
I
know
don't
everyone.
know them.
You know
I don't
everyone.
know Ponyphonic.
You can find someone who knows them who will introduce you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know Ponyphonic. I don't think I've ever even talked to them.
We can make this happen.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's quite elusive in the community. Not because he wants to be, but just because I don't know he is.
Yeah. In the vein of working with people, do you find that there's any kind of challenges with working with so many different personalities?
Yes. There's heaps. Sometimes, some people, it's hard because I have to adapt to every different kind of person because I feel like I stay constant all the time, but lots of people ask lots of different things of me. Some people, really want me to take the reins and write the melodies and the lyrics and the harmonies and everything. That's cool. That's really easy, actually. And then some people really have really specific ideas of what they want me to do, and they're very like, this is what I want. This melody, this harmony, blah, 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 this arrangement, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's difficult trying to switch back because I feel like I have to mold to whoever I'm working with. So it can be really difficult, especially with different personalities, because some people are really good at communicating and others aren't. So so it depends. It depends on who they are and how they work and their work ethic or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty casual and laid back, so I'll just go with the flow, whoever I'm working with. I mean, I try to, but it always is hard when I've got so many people to work with. I kind of just have to tell people, like, I will when I can, because it's either that I work with everyone and people complain about how long it takes, or I work with really specific people and people say, oh, wow, I can't believe you didn't work with me. Oh. So, I'm trying to keep most people happy, but I obviously can't. But I try my best.
What would you say was one of your most rewarding collabs?
Probably Aviators, I think. Aviators or Replacer. Because, yeah, I don't know. They're just really... I mean, Aviator gives great exposure, lol. But, no, he's really... I don't have to do a lot with him. I work really easily with him. We don't even talk that much. We just kind of... Like, we wrote lyrics for the Angels and Demons really quickly. We just backshot each other for about, 15 minutes, and then the lyrics were done. Like, that's just how we work. We work really fast. With Replacer, it's a much longer process, but I enjoy it a lot more in terms of he's really, like, knowledgeable, and his knowledge of harmonies and vocal layering and stuff. I learn a lot from him. I mean, I'm never going to be able to do what he can do, but he's helped me improve a lot. So, yeah, that's been rewarding in that sense. But Aviators is rewarding in the sense that, I don't know, it's just so easy and everything always comes out great. So, but he's a wonderful musician, so it's really, really easy.
Earlier you had said that writing the melodies and the harmonies are actually pretty easy for you. How do you actually go about doing that, not having musical training?
I just improvise everything until it sounds good.
It just happens.
Pretty much. I don't really know.
Because harmonies are one of the most difficult things for people to start picking up, especially if they don't have like an innate sort of vocal talent. But the fact that you can pick up melodies and harmonies naturally is kind of amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Like, it's just something that a lot of people have a lot of difficulty with, and some people are, take forever to even learn how to do it by, reading music or understanding music in that sense.
Well, on that line, I've actually been singing for about 15 years of my life, maybe longer, more like 20, and I still have troubles doing harmonies by ear. I could not just sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to sing out a harmony.
I will tell you, from a theory standpoint, harmonies are not fun.
Well, it's funny because, like, you can say, oh, I'm going to sing a fifth to this or a fourth to this, and it sounds good, but, like, if you did a true fourth to everything, it just wouldn't sound... good. You have to actually, make it work.
Right.
See, that's just like jargon to me. I have no idea what that means. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just sing the harmony. So yeah, I don't really think about it when I do it. It just, I don't know. Once I've got my melody, it's really easy for me to harmonize. It's just, yeah, it's easy.
I'm glad I'm not the only one on this show who doesn't know music theory.
So while we're on the subject of recording and melodies and whatnot, would you like to tell us what kind of equipment you use to record? And like what plugins you use, stuff like that?
Literally all I do is open GarageBand.
That's a good one.
Yeah, good start.
And then I put the little instrumental, whatever people gave me, and then I just record over it on my Blue Yeti mic, and then I just take off the mute the soundtrack, and then just export or whatever, take the thingies to iTunes, and then yeah, I'm done.
Well, all right,
that's
then.
all I do.
So to everybody out there that's considering being a vocalist in the Brony fandom, it's easier than you think.
It's really not hard. If I can do it, anyone can.
Kind of backtracking to collabs and stuff. What was the hardest collab, and why?
Oh, the hardest. Oh, I must say the song that I did with Replacer and Andy or Andy. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Andy. That one, Until the Sun, that was actually really hard because it was vocally a strain for me because Replacer sings really fast and he just, I don't know, his lung capacity is way better than mine. So it was really hard because he wrote the lyrics, the melodies, the harmonies, everything for that. I just performed it. He did everything. And for me to like copy his stuff was really hard because he has such really precise and great vocals, and I was like struggling to keep up with him. So that was actually a really hard collaboration. It took a long time too.
You're listening to Elements of Harmony on Everfree Radio. This is Replacer, featuring our guest, Feather, with Until the Sun.
So come on, won't you be friends? It should be easy to do, because I think you will find I'm not so different from you. They all say there goes a girl who's just as bold as her mane, and boy oh boy can she fly, puts every pony to shame. If only deep down inside it didn't feel like a lie. The more attention I get, the more I just want to cry. Comes up tomorrow. I promise it's not just you who sometimes gets lonely, and I really think you're such a special pony. So let's fly away, we'll go wherever you want. Now I've got you, let me show you what is meant by loyalty. I want to tell you a secret, it should be no surprise. I only act like I do because I'm trying to hide the fact that confidence can be hard to come by at all. And if I look down, I feel like I'm going to fall. This isn't easy for me, but I can see that you're sad, and I just can't pass you by because I'd feel so bad. I know you don't think I'm kind, that's no fault but my own, but I will give up my wings before I leave you alone. Oh.
So Feather, what kind of advice would you have to upcoming vocalists, and how would you suggest on getting started?
Collab, 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 and then after you've collabed, collab some more. That's my only advice. Just collab. And I would say for people that don't get it naturally and don't sing things by ear, do learn music theory. Because if you don't, I don't know, and if you want to take it to a more professional level, like I don't, but if you do, I think it's really important that you want to know your music theory and know your stuff, because if you want to do it professionally, you got to know your stuff. So yeah, but yeah, just collab like crazy. Doesn't matter, start out small, work your way up. It's just the way it works. And the more stuff you have to show for yourself, the more you can go, oh hey, can I collab with you, really big person, here's what I've done, blah blah blah, and you can kind of make yourself a little musical resume. So yeah, just start singing, even if it's just doing covers on your own. If you can't find anyone to collaborate with, then you can go to someone and say, hey, I've done all these covers, here's examples of my vocal work, do you want to work together? And most people will be willing to say yes, because most people understand the value of collabing and won't pass up on it, because it's exposure for both of you, it's value for both of you, experience for both of you, so everyone wins. So yeah, collab.
Would you ever consider taking a music theory class?
No.
There
No.
we go. Yeah, that's the right answer.
I'm terrible. I can't. I like was so close to failing music in high school. I'm terrible. I've heard that you have to have a mathematical brain, and I am so far from mathematically advanced in any way. I'm completely creative. I'm not at all mathematical or musical theory. No, it's just not my thing. I do everything by ear, and I'm happy that I can do that.
From what I'm told, the worst thing you can do if you love music is to go to university for music.
I say the same because I know that's what it's like for art. It does the same thing. If you're doing something creative that you enjoy, and then you have to slap deadlines on them and have people critically judge your work. I mean, like, it's good to have critical kind of constructive criticism and all that, but it can get really exhausting, especially when there's a lot of other people that are amazingly talented around you, and you're like, and you're struggling. So it works with art and music the same way, because it's like I said, the reason I don't want to get any training is because I don't want to turn what I love into a chore. But then again, that's because I don't want to take it professionally. If you do, it's just what you have to go through. So with art, I did it because I want to do it professionally. So yeah, just got to tough it through.
Would you say that being in the fandom or being a part of the fandom has changed any of your thoughts on music at all?
Oh, totally. Yeah, so much. I didn't at all give thoughts to many genres before I was a part of the fandom, because collabing forced me to listen to them and appreciate them in ways that I wouldn't or hadn't of before. And so, yeah, it's definitely changed my opinion of music and my knowledge of music, and which is still not very much, but it's more than it was before. So that's a point. Definitely yes.
Just kind of a fun, more off-topic question. You said you were an art teacher, correct?
Yeah, just graduated.
Have any of your students found out that you're a brony?
No, but when I was doing, thank God, I don't actually want them to know, but when I was on my internship, which was for 15 weeks, I was cleaning out the storeroom and I found pictures of Fluttershy, and I was like, oh, there's bronies amongst me. And so I went around and I'm like looking about, I'm like, anyone have fedoras? Like, I was like looking around. But then I found one kid in my class and she had a Rainbow Dash background on her phone. When I told her to put her phone away, I'm like, oh, Rainbow Dash, I see. So, and every so often I'd like slip in really popular but only in the fandom known little sayings like 20% cooler and things like that, and I'd see if people's ears would perk up, and sometimes they did, and I was like, oh, possible brony. Like, so yeah, I was searching for them, but like incognito.
That is amazingly dubious.
Oh yes.
What are your thoughts on doing music post fandom? Do you think you would continue to be a vocalist?
Probably not. I don't think I'll have the time. I'll still sing like for myself, but I don't think I'll do it in the same way I do. Like once the fandom ends, if it ever does, or the music kind of side of the fandom dies down, I'll probably die down too with it, because I really want to focus on art, and music's fun and everything, and I love it, and I'm glad I've got to have this experience, but being a Brony musician doesn't carry well into the classroom as a teacher, where your students have to respect you. And as much as I hate to say that, I would lose a lot of respect if people knew that. Not everyone, but there are kids that will just rip you apart for that kind of stuff. So, you have to be professional about these kind of things, and I really want to keep those two lives separate. And if it means that I have to stop singing, I probably will, because my career is something that is more important in the long run to me.
This has been a sobering public service announcement by Feather.
Just kind of curious, but what age group of kids do you teach?
I teach high school, so that's ages, for Australia, that's ages 13 to 18, so 7 to 12.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely rip you apart if they find out you're a brony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention as well that I think it's still fairly recently that Feather appeared at PonyCon AU.
Oh yes, that was earlier on this year.
And how was that?
That was great. It was a lovely experience. I kind of got annoyed because it was in the middle of my internship, so I could only be there for one day. And that one day I was running around like crazy because I had a stall, I had my own performance, like my own set, I was appearing on other sets, I was on 2 panels, and it was just ridiculous, and I had no time to breathe or think or anything. So when next year's PonyCon comes around, which is in February 1st and 2nd, little plug there, down in Melbourne, I'm going to be performing there, but I'm staying there for a couple of days before and after, and I'll be there for both days, and I'll be able to relax and really talk to people, and I won't have a stall or anything like that, so it's just going to be much better. But yeah, overall it was a fantastic experience. It was my first performance, and I pooped myself because I was so scared, but it was terrible. I enjoyed it, but I realized I'm not a performer. I could never do this professionally ever. I'm not a performer. I'm a studio voice only, if that. But no, it was a great experience, and I was really pleased that I did it, which is why I'm doing it again. So yeah, it was really valuable.
Was it your first convention?
Yeah, first convention. Oh well, my first pony convention. I've been to other conventions,
Okay.
but it was my first pony convention and my first performance, so it was kind of a big thing. But yeah, it was exciting.
Speaking along those lines of performance, what was it like actually performing at Brony Palooza in front of hundreds of people and a live stream going on, and knowing this would be recorded and posted to YouTube?
Oh, it was so scary. I performed on the second night, and on the first night, I was practicing underneath in the little practicing room, and I was sitting on the floor, and I was singing with Ryan Flo, just practicing, and the ground was rippling. And I was like, wow, there must be a lot of people up there. And that was when they were jumping still, and it was all ridiculous, and the whole place felt like it was going to come down. And then Silver, in all his wisdom, took me into the back of the first night of Brony Palooza and kind of said to me, hey, look at all these people, like 4,000 of them. That's what you're going to get tomorrow. Are you excited? You nervous? Yeah? And I was like, oh, dear. So when it was my turn to perform, I was like so scared. But everyone was so nice to me, and everyone was like really lovely and very supportive. So I wasn't too nervous when I was before and after, but on stage I was so nervous. But I think that's just something I am when I perform, just really nervous. So yeah, no, it was a wonderful performance, like in terms of an experience, and like I messed up heaps, but you know, it was my second performance. What are you gonna do?
Well, and speaking of those nerves, stage fright, do you have anything that helps you get over that and actually go through with it? I know you're a teacher, so you actually have to stand in front of people and talk every day. Does that help you at all when you're actually playing at these conventions?
I'd like to say yes, but it doesn't. It doesn't help at all. It's singing and like teaching. That's That's two very different things. There's similarities, but for me, they're so different. Like singing, I don't know. It's just, it feels like something I should be doing alone in my room, and I should never share with anyone. So it's really unusual for me to be up there and feel normal. I don't think I'm ever going to feel normal on stage singing. But I think, like I said, from the support of the musicians that are usually there performing with me, like they're really, really supportive. Like Mike the Microphone was fantastic. I'd never met him before, and he was like bringing me tea backstage and just being so lovely. And I was just like, oh, thank you so much. And then Tabi, he was great, and Replacer was great, and just everyone was just really lovely and so nice to me. So that really helped. It made me feel safer, and they all kept on giving me really great advice and tips and stuff. So I just felt really prepared, even though I wasn't like in myself prepared, because I still got nervous. I felt able to go on because I had so many people backing me. So yeah, it's good.
We were hearing some barking and stuff in the background there, so I just wanted to bring up the point that you are a pet lover and own a few animals, correct?
Yes, many animals.
So what kind of pets have you found?
Well, I have one dog called Pokey. And then my fiance's mother has two dogs, Munchie and Toby. And then at the moment we're looking after his cousin's dog, Oreo. So at the moment we have 4 dogs. Usually we just have 3. And then I have a Sunconia, a rainbow lorikeet, and 3 cockatiels, and then 2 more cockatiels at my parents' house. So yeah, got a little bit of a menagerie going on.
So it's pretty much like Fluttershy's cottage over there.
Yeah, I literally have my own bird choir because I've taught them all to talk and sing, so it's great.
You've taught, okay, so you're a brony artist who has kind of based her OC off of Fluttershy, and you have a bird choir that you've taught to sing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know what I can say to
Too
that.
much?
This is starting to sound very brony.
Yeah, I know.
But which came first?
Ooh, questions.
I think you need to expand on that one.
The Brony fandom or the love of animals? Or the Fluttershy episode, I guess.
A love of animals is, I grew up with animals. Like I've always had animals from when I was young. Like I've never not had a pet. If I can't understand people that don't grow up with pets. I'm like, what? You never had one? Like, what do you do? Like, I don't understand. It's just completely weird to me. So yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely gonna, like, I've always joked to myself, I'm like, if I can't have kids, or if I'm not really, if I'm not really interested in children, I'll just have animals and just live in my own little zoo. So yeah.
I can kind of connect with you on that, because at one point I had over 100 pets in my house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Though a majority of that were we had a hatchling of reptiles. So
Oh, what kind?
we had bearded dragons and chameleons.
I love them.
Yeah, I had bearded dragons for quite a while. We bred them, and we did that. We bred and sold bearded dragons for a while.
Well, I was never allowed reptiles. I always wanted reptiles. So my cousin had scorpions, and I really wanted scorpions. So I want everything. Who am I kidding?
Scorpions.
Yeah, you're in the perfect place in the world for it, right?
I know what to get you for
Like,
Christmas.
we have everything that kills. Why not make it our pet?
So, we as we have kind of alluded to, you are from Australia, and what's the Brony fandom like out there? Since the majority of people listening to this show will be in America, what's the Brony fandom like in Australia? Like, what kind of meetups are there out there? Like, what kind of stuff do you guys do?
Oh, I suppose there wouldn't be as many bronies, I don't think. There are quite a few, and there are some big groups around in terms of, but they're more online. If we do have meetups, like, I think the most we've gotten is like 62 people, and that was like for a birthday. But yeah, no, they're kind of just, I guess, the same as American meetups. Meet up and talk about ponies. But I've held art meets before where I teach people art and help them get better at their pony anatomy. But yeah, we just have meetups and events and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be very similar to American meetups, I'm sure, but just with Aussie accents.
And have you found that it's difficult at all to work with people from across the world, or does it sort of, do your schedules just kind of sync up at a point or work out?
I found most people are really accommodating to me. I have rarely had to stay up too late. And that's mostly because I do all my recording at night because I live next to a main road. My animals are all very loud. My family is very loud. So I have to wait till everyone and everything is asleep before I can record. So I mostly am working at night. I can't really collaborate and talk about stuff when I need to get my vocals done because I have such a short pocket of time to do it because I need to sleep too, unfortunately. But yeah, so most people are really accommodating and so it's not too hard on me. It's mostly hard on them. But yeah, it's with the, Skype and internet and all that, it makes everything really easy actually. So yeah, it's not too bad. I think it would be weirder doing it in person. I think that'd be odd.
So back on the subject of cons, do you have any cons that you'd like to go to that you haven't been already?
Oh, I'd love to go to Everfree.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
love
get
to
over
go
here.
I'd love to go to GalaCon, I think that's what it's called. Just anywhere that's in different countries that I haven't been before, because when I went to BronyCon, that was my first time out of Australia. And I haven't even been to that many places in Australia, so I haven't traveled lots, and so that was really exciting and really weird, but fun. And I'd like to do more travel. It's just a matter of money because, poor student. So now I'm a poor graduate. So
Well, if you ever get up to Everfree, that'll be awesome.
yeah, I'd love to go to Everfree. I heard such good things about that con. Like everyone who I talked to about Everfree absolutely loved it.
All right, so we're going to take a little break. After the break, we're coming back with our technical discussion where we're going to talk a little bit about mic technique. Until then, this is Phony, Brony, and Feather. I'll show you my loyalty. You're listening to Elements of Harmony, only on Everfree.
As souls go, as sun will live on. The stars will someday turn to dust. Yet after our loved ones are gone, there still shall be someone to trust. If you know me, it's no matter if I'm there for you. If you wish me, I will take the time to see it through. Don't deny it, there is hope, don't stop believing me. Close your eyes and follow it, 'cause I'll show you my loyalty. See what every means to me, and everything that can be within us. Just believe, and I will be by your side. If you know me, it's no matter if I'm there for you. If you wish me, I will take the time to see it through. Don't deny it, there is hope, don't stop believing me. Close your eyes and follow it, 'cause I'll show you my loyalty. 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 'Cause
All right, and we're back. And today we're going to talk a little bit about mic techniques, since we are speaking to a famed vocalist, very professional within the fandom, uses such amazing recording technologies such as GarageBand.
So professional.
And you said that for your mic you use a Blue Yeti?
Yeah. It's a really great mic. I love it.
How do you find it? Like, do you have to be very close when you record or anything like that?
Sometimes if I'm like doing some more like belty out kind of notes, some more hard hitting ones, I have to be back, otherwise it clips a bit. And since I have background noise issues problems, like it is actually a really sensitive mic, like it picks up background noise really well, so I have to make sure it's like dead silence. But apart from that, it's actually really great. It picks up things really clearly, and yeah, sometimes a little bit too clearly though, because sometimes I can hear like my lips smack or something.
Yep. And yeah, that is definitely a thing once you get into more professional microphones, or any microphone that's priced more than like $50, really.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll find that these microphones are more sensitive. Honestly, if you have good control over your gain when you're recording, like the volume level of the mic, if you're able to turn it down and get closer to the mic, you can get a nicer, warmer sound. But you just have to be careful when you're recording that you're always recording so that your levels sort of stay in the green, or the touch in the yellow when it's a little bit louder, but you never want to get into the red or have anything like that. And we did talk about clipping a little bit in our earlier shows, but yeah, that's certainly one of the things you can do with a nicer mic, is just turn down the gain a little bit and just get a little bit closer to the mic to get a little bit of a warmer, fuller sound.
Yeah, I definitely suggest also make sure you have a pop filter with the Blue Yeti, because like I said, it is really sensitive and you kind of need that. It's really helpful.
Really, with any mic, pop filters.
Yeah, definitely.
Pop filters are amazing.
Yeah, pop filter, that's just really important whenever you're doing any kind of recording, because the pop filter, it will do a little bit of natural de-essing and take out some of the harshness of your consonants and S sounds, but more importantly, anytime that you accidentally get too much wind flow coming out of your mouth, it creates a popping noise when that goes raw into a microphone, and a pop filter filters all of that out.
And just to sort of explain to people so that they know, pop filter is that thing that sits in front of the microphone. A lot of the time, if you buy one, you can get one for like $10-15, and it's basically just a circular piece of metal that has some nylon stretched within it, that just sort of absorbs harsh, quick air movements in order to reduce the P sounds and S sounds and all that.
Fun fact, you can also use stockings as like a DIY pop filter. If you can't buy things offline, or if you don't have the money, you can just make one with stockings. I saw that on a life hack or something. It was really good.
I totally did that for my first pop filter. For my first pop filter, that was exactly what I did. I made a little frame and I stretched a nylon stocking over top of it.
Wow, I've never actually heard of this before.
You just all you do is just like make a wire frame and then stretch it over, and you got your little pop filter.
I'm gonna have to try that. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, cheap stuff. I know all about that.
On the subject of microphones, I'm more of a guitar guy. I don't really know how they work and stuff like that. And I actually am wondering how you guys get your voice or your vocals to be so like level in volume through tracks.
That is a combination of microphone technique and processing afterwards. So one of the things that I was taught when I was doing vocal training for voiceovers was proximity to mic. So depending on how close you are, it gives different feels. So obviously, if you're doing like, I don't know, like a car ad where you're like, the all-new equestrian car, you have to be very close to the microphone in order to sort of get that bass response. Whereas, there's other situations where, say you're like a character shouting for your dad or something like that, then you kind of have to move away from the mic and be like, hey, Dad! And just so you can kind of, that kind of keeps the volume levels normalized, I guess, to say. But yeah, no, really, it's just move further away from the mic when you're louder and move closer when you're quieter. And it works for singing as well. So, you know, if you're doing a song and you start out singing quietly, very close to the mic, and then you move away from the mic as you get louder, that kind of stuff.
The song will be on his next album.
Awesome. How to sing with Forest Rain.
No, that's actually really awesome. Unfortunately, I like to move around a lot when I sing. So how do I fix that?
Don't move. No.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I'm more a studio voice, because I don't like to move when I sing at all. Like, the only thing that moves are my hands. And that's just an emotional expression thing. But when you're like, I think you just have to stay still. Otherwise, if you're moving around, like, it'll start to sound weird. You gotta keep it constant.
Well, I'm not like doing ballet or anything like that, but
I don't know how you
That was a
move,
perfect
man.
example of that, though.
yeah.
That was a perfect example of that, Feather, when you did that, though.
Yeah, it's just it's like the whole mosquito thing where you're like,
And if you would really like, I could go out there with a cattle prod and just, you know, shock you every time you move.
yeah, just
Okay.
train it right up. Just make it a really cruel training torture thing.
Zap6.com.
I like that much better.
No, this one's going to be linked up with Zap Zeta.
Ah,
Text 1 for Zeta, text 2 for 6.
Yeah, for those that don't know, before the show we were talking about how we need to keep Zeta awake because it's like almost 1 a.m. now as we're doing this interview. Because everything's pre-recorded and, you know, window into the
and
making
I gotta
of.
go to work by 5 a.m. or I gotta leave for work at 5.
Yeah, so we just said that we're gonna set up a website where we can zap Zeta anytime that he's, you know, getting tired.
Is there anything that you do for microphone isolation? Like sticking a box around it or like draping a blanket behind it or anything like that?
All I do is just make sure I'm in a really a room where all the windows and everything's closed, and just make sure it's quiet. That's all I do. I don't have any special like magical blankets or anything like that.
In order to try and get a better sound when I was in college, because I had a very terrible room for recording. It was essentially a really small rectangular box that sounded terrible. I would take my microphone, put it on a little desk stand, and I would flip a stool upside down and stick it on top of my desk, stick the microphone in it, and then put a very heavy comforter around it. And I would sing into that, and it would completely isolate the sound going into the microphone. And that's basically just to sort of remove room noise.
I am so gonna try that.
Yeah, it's one way to really help. It just sort of it keeps your voice from sounding too echoey when you record, and makes it sound more like you're in an isolation booth.
That's so clever. I'm gonna do that. Except now I'm gonna have to put like a little fan in it, because obviously in Australia it's really like hard to breathe because it's so hot all the time. I have to put a little fan in there to make sure I'm all right.
Yeah. Well, one of the things too is that a lot of people think that you need to, you know, isolate everything. You need to build a room to isolate yourself and all that, which you really don't. You really just need to isolate around the mic. Because when you're singing into it and your head's in front of it, your head's blocking that side anyway, and all the sound's coming from there. So you just really need to muffle all the sound around the rest of the mic. So it can be like a little box, or, you know, in my case, an upside down stool with a comforter over the mic, as long as there's a little opening there for you to sing into.
That just reminded me of all of Solrak's videos, how he goes out into a car to record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And especially with that Blue Yeti condenser microphone, something that's non-directional, that's really going to help isolate.
And Solrak has to really turn down his gain and stay away from the mic when he's doing it.
Oh, really?
I was just waiting for an impression to start, but I'm glad it didn't.
No, I'm too tired to do that.
Yeah, I don't know much about vocals, but I'm pretty sure he's ruining his voice.
It was tempting.
Yeah, no.
It was tempting.
I'm still sick. I would literally tear my throat out.
And I have roommates sleeping right next to me that would be very upset.
Do it.
I had the same
Do it,
thought.
you wimp.
No.
Oh.
Maybe one of these days I'll death growl it. I don't know. And actually, that brings us to an interesting point of the voice if we're done with microphones.
Sure.
Breathing. That is the foundation of everything to do with the voice. And you had said with death growls that can be done without damaging the voice. The big thing that damages a voice whenever you're doing a growl or a scream is when you're not trying to produce that with your airflow, but instead clenching down your vocal cords. And when you're actually doing it right, you are actually clenching the very top of your vocal cord, but you're not going to feel that. Whereas if you're doing it incorrectly, it's going to clench the whole way down, and that's just a quick way to kill the voice. What you're usually doing is, first of all, there's a certain type of breathing when you're doing voice called diaphragm breathing. That's a breath that's very deep in the gut feeling, and you're trying to push your stomach out as you inhale and push it in as you exhale. And you take all of that concentrated air and try to hit your soft palate whenever you're doing a scream or a growl. And that's what actually makes that sound.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video on that, and they, I guess they likened it to the feeling that you get when you're taking a poop.
That's a good way to think about it, actually, because
Yeah.
I think about it. I was in marching band, and it's the same feeling you get for trying to walk a straight line. And they always told us, imagine that you're trying to keep a grape squeezed between your butt cheeks. But that does align your body perfectly for airflow.
There is a whole bunch of things for this too, and really, is the biggest thing is to imagine your breath as if you were an opera star, and not like the sort of sweet little girl voice where you're like la 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 la. It's all coming from your throat, but it's coming from your diaphragm, from the very like your stomach. And I remember watching Kristen Chenoweth on Ellen. Kristen Chenoweth played Glinda in Wicked, and she always said that her vocal teacher said, "Imagine singing from your hoo-ha."
Oh my god!
Wow.
So that's what she said, and Ellen thought it was hilarious. But it makes complete sense. Just imagine breathing to the very deepest part of your pelvis,
The very who's of your heart.
Yeah, the very who's of your heart.
But that whole singing from down deep in your pelvis, that's really important, not just for the breathing technique, but the reverberation, because your whole body is like an echo chamber, and you're trying to get down to the deepest parts of your body to resonate, and that's what actually develops that rich sound that comes out of your mouth as you sing. And the higher in your range that you go, it's going to go more up toward your head, and that's actually, if you ever experience dizziness while singing and you're singing a lot of high notes, that's because of the resonation, all the reverberation going on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Feather, for coming into our show tonight. It was very interesting, hearing it from a different perspective of someone who isn't very classically trained, but is just so naturally gifted at everything that you do. So I want to thank you for coming on our show and showing us that you can do it yourself if you just put a lot of hard work and dedication into your work.
Thank you so much. It's great being here.
And real quick, this weekend, tune in for Eastern Sounds at 1 p.m., Mixology at 6 p.m., and Saturday Night Songs at 9 p.m. on the Saturday. And on Sunday, Blue Screen Bronies at 7 p.m., Pegasisters Live at 9 p.m., only on Everfree Network.
And until next time, this is
Six String,
Starlight Ironhoof,
Or Strain.
and Zeta Prime. Thanks for listening.
Oh, that I'll never leave you out here on your own.